This position makes me think of Bronny James. This is the son of LeBron James, who's going into the NBA this year. It's like, yo, you got a lot of abundance or assistance within your social networks. They're supporting your hopes, dreams, and wishes. There's haters over there. There's people who are like, he doesn't deserve it. Jupiter is like, do you believe within what the network circle is telling you, or you're going to listen to the naysayers?
Student of the mind, steady studying my enemies. Anytime I rhyme, feel like I smoked a blunt of cannabis. Like PG, pass me the clippers, I'ma handle it. More like CP3, just warrior like glamorous.
What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of 𝐦𝐤𝐤 Knowledge. We're back with part 2 of Jupiter and Gemini. Today, we'll be going through the houses. I'll give you a bit of insight on what Jupiter is going to do within this house. Just a friendly reminder, I offer transit readings. I can break down the specific transit for you. I prefer to do it that way because I'm taking into account many different layers of your chart and all of that. So if you're interested, very affordable, check out GeminiBrown.com. And also, my album, The Son of Gemini Part 2, is out right now. If you're a fan of hip-hop or futuristic jazz-infused music, you'll want to check that out. Thank you to everyone who's given me wonderful feedback so far. It means a lot. And yeah, let's get to it. Yesterday's video, you can check out, I was given some general themes, how I see it from my mind's eye, how this transit is going to play out. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting. So one of the things I want to get out the way and say before I get into the houses is I follow my mind's eye. And I also pay attention to my dreams. And at this point, it's really fun. And just like any skill or muscle, it gets stronger through time. So just in this short period of time Jupiter's been in Gemini, I feel those faculties within myself increasing. And yeah, just how I said, everyone's going to be a lot more opinionated. Shit, I might as well. Because I got to tell you, a lot of stuff in this day and age, it's not that I keep it to myself. I'm very mindful if it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I always want my messages to be greatly understood, you know? So one of the things within this next year and even beyond, because in Jupiter being Aries, I believe that, and this is the age of Aquarius. We all know that Aquarius deals with the future, technology, aliens, UFOs, all of that good jazz. I've known for years, like, man, when we're living that, like, those are the themes that are going to spring up. And I've always said, too, that, you know, the movies in which we all watched, paranormal movies with spirits and stuff like that, you know, people like myself and others those that knows that that's a real reality. It's a real reality. And at particular times in human history, based on transits, cycles and stuff, the gates are a lot more open, right? So we know that there's the illusionary world, and then there's the real world, and then there's worlds in between that. And I know we're heading for a eventual merging of that, but it's going to start with like an opening up. So I predict the veil will get thinner, and we're all channels. Those of us who have already been communicating with guides and things like that, the energy is going to be increased. And I think we're going to see more on a collective level, that idea of making contact with the quote unquote unknown, right? But if you know enough, you know nothing's really unknown. These same forces that are set to appear could have always been appearing to those who are able to manifest them or commune with them. But we're heading to a point vibrationally where, like I said, that veil is going to be thinner. So remember, Jupiter, Gemini deals with communication. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces. So it deals with that 12th house. It deals with the higher mind and spiritual expansion, communication, things hidden, all of that. So I think for those who have particular alignments, you're going to really experience an increase of psychic sensitivity, awareness, and even understanding. That's the key part. But remember, it's about how you think about things. And anybody who's taken classes with me, studied under me, knows I'm a huge Trekkie and just understander that of what Star Trek represents for us here in the Matrix. If you've never acclimated yourself with Star Trek, that would be a great thing to do with Jupiter and Gemini. Open yourself up to this perspective. You may be able to see some things you didn't see before. All right. So definitely we want to keep in mind for increased contact with UFOs and just the extraterrestrial. So getting to the transits, if Jupiter is going to be transiting your first house, this is the first thing you always got to know for Jupiter transiting the first house. This is your body, your physical vessel. Your weight is very likely to fluctuate. This can work for you or this can work against you. You're going to be changes within your body. These changes within your body, maybe you want to embrace them, because the next thing about being at least the type of astrologer I am, I use my, not common sense, but my understanding of life. So if I'm giving a reading to someone who is 35 and maybe they had their first child, and this is coinciding with a Jupiter transit in the first house, I know that it may not necessarily be a thing where your diet isn't right. It could be, but it could just be a natural progression in life, right? We all naturally gain mass as we get older. Like I said, as I grow in my practice and I connect more with others, I'm attuned into how others think, and as well as introducing y'all to how I think. And I want to throw this out there. Remember, people who played the role I'm playing as a spiritual advisor in the past, you know, we know collectively we got the Miss Cleos of the world and stuff. I just want y'all to know that those people in their awareness, they may not have been able to understand aspects of the mind like people in my position do now. For one, I'm a product of the Pluto and Scorpio generation that really deals with that. So I take many things into account. And when you're learning from me, you're never going to be led astray or influenced by my own personal feelings or even feelings that day. All right. So be mindful of that. Fluctuations in the body for the first house. What you want to do with this energy in your first house is tap into Gemini. You need to be communicating some form of your truth. In this day and age, we all have a brand. We're all selling something. So whatever your thing is, you got to be communicating. You got to be promoting, you know, even if that hasn't been a strength for you in the past. This Gemini energy should give you a push to find dynamic, creative, agile ways of doing such. So expanding upon the self and how you interact with your world. Jupiter in the second house, one of the best transits you could have. This is one of the house that deals with finances, gains, and all of that. And depending on what you got going on in your progression chart, your solar chart, this can really add to your ability to generate finances. So I would get really, I don't want to just say money-minded, but get studious about how you invest in things, how you go about your own communicating your own personal value. So you may need to experiment with things to enhance those particular areas. It really is just contingent on what you have going on. All right. So like I said, hit me up if you want to talk about that more. Jupiter in the third house is going to deal with movement. This is Gemini's natural domain. So if you're not traveling, if there isn't movement in your life, then you have to take that into account, that like, man, I may have some blocked energy. With Jupiter going through your third house, you should plan some form of trip. And if you really want to cater to the energy, let that be aligned with spiritual goals. Take a little spiritual trip somewhere. It could be isolation. It could be with your sibling, friends, things of that nature, right? See somewhere you haven't seen. This could be the year where it's like, oh, I always wanted to go there. Do that with certain houses, 3rd, 6th, 10th, depending on like what you're doing and devoting energy to. With Gemini, you're gonna get this lesson of time. And the lesson of time with Gemini is that you really do have enough with proper focus and planning, i.e. Virgo, i.e. Capricorn. With those proper things in place, you get a lot more out of your day and time. Once again, these are things that I can, help you with via coaching. So just throwing that out there. But the pace here, Jupiter wants you to be on the go. It wants to be involved in things. And this can be a position too where maybe if you're feeling festive, right? If this is coinciding, if you're a Gemini, it's coinciding with your birthday, this is the year you throw a party or something. Or throw a party for a sibling. There's a festivity here, but movement, right? Expanding the horizons. Next door to that, Jupiter in the 4th house. This is a blessing. Remember, the blessing here is that Jupiter is always rooting for us. So when it comes to the 4th house, if you got to be real with yourself, have I worn out my time here at this particular residence or location? Does the environment support my expansion? And through the 4th house, you can exercise trips as well and movement, but you can get signals from the universe that we need to get moving. We need to get out of this environment more. It doesn't have to be you up and move, but you start to make more moves than you were making previously. Also, a gift with family. So if you're expecting this year, you can experience a lot of harmony, a lot of good communication. There's a power in talking things through. There's a power in mentorships or role models. So blessings and abundance can come through family, mother, different forms. Okay. Jupiter in the 5th house. I was talking about at the end of yesterday's video, the importance of paying attention to your children. This is all contingent on the current state of your relationship with your child's age. So let's just say, because remember, astrology is math, it's cycles. Let's just say this 5th house Jupiter transit for you is coinciding with your child's Jupiter return. Once again, real life stuff is like, oh, this is an important year for my child. How were things for me when I was 12? Next part of this is like, what has your child been working on something to this point? Like, let's say they've been playing a sport or involved in some type of activity for a couple years now. This can be the year where for them or for you, you realize, oh, they're good at this. Or like, oh, there's a future here for them, right? This can come through achievement, many things. But Jupiter is a benefact, so it won't be necessarily a negative thing. But like I said, it's going to force you to have to pay a little bit more attention in this area. Now, keep in mind, these themes with Jupiter and the children, Jupiter could be transiting somewhere else in your chart and still activate these themes. If, let's say, you have a 5th house stellium, or you have Chiron and Leo, things like that. Okay. So, like I said, get real about, use your eye about where your focus is needed and all of that. I'm offering the child parent analysis. Check that out. Jupiter in the 6th. And remember, this is the original house of Virgo. It's opposite to the 12th. Jupiter could get a lot done here, but the risk in Gemini is that we do a whole lot of shit that results in not a lot of concrete progress or whatever. 6th house, you want to get goal oriented. You want to know what you're working towards. You want to amp up your practicality. I would tell you, this is one where this can definitely represent you taking some type of class, getting mentorship, having someone who is maybe like a Jupiterian force in your life, but you need something that holds you accountable. So Jupiter here in the 6th, like I said, that's great for getting things done, but the focus needs to be there, and you need a way to hold yourself accountable. And just learning new things is a great thing for that position as well. Learning but applying. Jupiter in the 7th. Shout out to the Sag risings. This is simple. In truth, I feel like a lot of Sages that have come to me or that are even around me, they're getting the results of either wise action or recklessness. So if it's recklessness, a lot of Sages are behind. But if you've held the vision, if you've been focused, and you keep showing up, living the truth, this is the real benefit of Jupiter here. It's gonna bless you. So whatever business you got, there's gonna be a self-expansion and more awareness for you with others. But it starts with how you're actualizing and expressing that Sag. So going back to the idea of movement and travel, take advantage of the opportunities brought to you. If you're the type of person, if you're like a Sag rising and you don't necessarily take people up on a lot of invites, take advantage of them invites this year. Be open to collaboration, all of that. Okay, but really great influence for Jupiter there in the 7th. Jupiter in the 8th. This can work really well in regards to intimacy, deep relationships. I feel like for the mutables, a lot of are going to be able to find the partnerships we've been seeking, not necessarily romantically, but even on a friendship or even a professional level. Here, you really want to dig deep and think bigger and know what you want. Relentless within that pursuit. The focus here is going to be important because, as I said before, Gemini could get distracted. Okay. And then endings. Don't be afraid to embrace endings of all different kinds. This is ultimately where the abundance will come, within the endings, the new beginnings. Jupiter in the 9th, its natural position here. I see this for Libras because the South Node is here. There's a lot of chance to get things right, put wise action into real play. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of tests here for you. And you're going to learn things about your mind, about how your mind can hold you back. So I alluded to this yesterday. Don't get too caught up with thinking. Be aware of how you're communicating on various levels. Okay, whether it be your truth, whether it be your creativity. I think it's going to lead to having to confront fears. The things you do within the 9th house are going to bring you into more balance with other areas of your chart, particularly, if you have other energies in aspect to this 9th house. Jupiter in the 10th, a year where we can easily command respect. Let's just say the way I seen this one, this is the year where you defeat your haters or your adversaries through good faith, through communicating your truth, through professionalism, through fucking showing up. Just got to keep shining the light or doing the work. Jupiter in the 11th, you are this is for Leo rising, so very popular this year. But at the same time, Saturn and Pisces, you could experience the shadow side of others. But it's not to derail you. It's kind of like what I said before. You got to keep shining. To whom much is given, much is expected. This position makes me think of Bronny James. This is the son of LeBron James, who's going into the NBA this year. It's like, yo, you got a lot of abundance or assistance within your social networks. They're supporting your hopes, dreams, and wishes. There's haters over there. There's people who are like, he doesn't deserve it. Jupiter is like, do you believe within what the network circle is telling you, or you're going to listen to the naysayers? Jupiter in the 12th, natural position for Jupiter. It's going to be interesting here. So what's going to come to light here is anything that's been hidden that could have potentially been holding you back vibrationally, through your actions, through your thoughts. This can also deal with endings, ending of relationships, ending of workplaces. The things here, those endings have to be embraced. Like I said before, in the 8th, they got to be embraced. You can't be like wishy-washy. One great way to channel this, if you're having this transit, the thing with 12th house, the universe tends to isolate you. And with Pluto here in Aquarius, this could represent living outside of the matrix. This could represent getting some rest. There's a need to embrace unconventionalness with this and allow yourself to rest and connect with that spirit. Be open towards learning and be open towards communicating what you know, because you never know the perspective you may be providing for another. All right. So y'all, this is my episode for today. I hope everyone enjoyed. Check out my services, my new album at GeminiBrown.com. Till next time, peace.